Let's see.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the Dark Gaia Phoenix. Apparently Dark Gaia has possessed this mythical bird, and he is protecting the temple and getting in the way of our restoring the Chaos Emerald. So here we have our first werehog boss fight, completely different from the daytime boss fights where you're constantly chasing a running robot machine that Sonic has to beat up. No, this is one where you have to use your fists. This is one where you have to pick up objects and throw them at the boss. This is the one where you're the werehog, baby! Yeah! And, Dark Gaia Phoenix is covered in flames. His whole body is made of fire. He's always flying in the sky. So in order to take away that fire, in order to put him back on the ground where you can beat the hell out of him, you have to take advantage of all these barrels that are filled with water on all these different podiums. Once you cool them off for a bit, you beat them up, and then it's quick times! And this is the only Wii boss fight that involves quick time events, aside from, like, maybe the final boss at the very end. I know for certain all the other werehog and daytime Sonics, boss fights don't have quick times, in the Wii version anyway. So, that's the moment where you gotta get familiar with your buttons, because if you're playing with a nunchuck and Wiimote setup, or you're playing with a classic controller setup, or a GameCube controller setup, I hope you know where all the buttons are in correlation to everything, because, it's better to do the QTEs, obviously. You do more damage, you speed up the boss fight a lot better, and if you screw up the QTEs, then you don't do as much damage, and you'll have to engage in more beatdowns with this guy, and that's never good. That's no good! The thing that makes the Wii version of this boss fight super easy in comparison to the HD version is that this guy likes to spend a lot of his time just floating around on fire. I think he's trying to, like, build up for some mega move that he never does. I don't know. But you can throw a water barrel on him, and then you literally wait like 2 or 3 seconds, and the water barrel just spawns and returns out of nowhere. I don't know why it spawns out of nowhere, but hey, we wouldn't have a proper boss fight if it didn't. It would be kind of unfair if it didn't. So hey, I'm not going to question the Chaos Emerald gods that are smiling upon us. Otherwise, it's pretty simple. He shoots feathers at you, get out of the way. Every time you hit him with a QTE segment, he'll ground pound and cause a fire wave. Jump over that, and you should be pretty damn good. Most of the time, he's going to be standing there on fire going, "Come on, hit me with your barrels! Come on, hit me with your barrels!" So you pick up a barrel and you hit him. "Come on, hit me again! Hit me!" Alright, Dark Gaia Phoenix, whatever. There's really not much to it. Even having, like, smaller strength when you start off the game, it's pretty easy to get him into a QTE segment, so it's not like I'm super overpowered for this fight or anything. Most of it's QTE, most of it is throwing water barrels on him, so it's just a very specific kind of fight, and you shouldn't really have too much problem. The feathers don't do too much damage, the fire wave doesn't do too much damage. The only reason you want to do this fast is for the S rank, and, yeah. We just kicked the fuck out of a giant bird! I'm tired.
How do you like that, huh?
Alrighty folks, that was the Wii version. Coming up in part 15, we shall see the HD version. Aloha everybody, and welcome to part 15 of Sonic Unleashed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking on the HD version of the Dark Gaia Phoenix. So this one's pretty much the same idea as the Wii version. His body is lit with flames, and you can't damage him at all until you throw some water bottles or water vases at him. At which point he'll rest up, land somewhere, and then you beat him up until a quick time event happens, and then you just drain his health bar and watch as Sonic beats the living shit out of him. Well, that was easy. I'm kidding, he's got like 2 more health bars, but what makes it a little bit harder, or at least a little bit longer, or more challenging than the Wii version, is that the water vases don't spawn, like, instantly. if you throw it at the Dark Gaia Phoenix, it doesn't just appear like 3 seconds later. You gotta wait like maybe 10 to 20, something like that. 10 to 15. Like, it doesn't take too long. Like, see, it's back. But it's certainly longer than 3. The Dark Gaia Phoenix tends to shoot its feathers at you a lot more haphazardly. Sometimes you have to wait because he'll try and do this little spin attack that will knock the vase out of the sky if you try throwing it at him. Like here, I didn't take him out because he blew it all away, you know? So I sort of had to time that better, and I wasted my throw there. So now I gotta run and look out for other bottles, and those feathers can destroy the water vases as well. So, if for some reason you're holding the water vase and a whole bunch of arrows are coming at you, or feathers are, they will break the water vase, and then you'll have to scramble and look for a new one, and that'll make the fight go by a little bit slower, which is never good. The lock-on technology is pretty damn good, I think. All you have to do is really look out for the cursor on Dark Gaia Phoenix. If you see this little green cursor, there's a good chance Werehog's going to throw the vase at him, and oh, right in the nuts! Okay, maybe it's his belly, but you know what? That's a groin shot to me. The Werehog is a dirty motherfucker. Where did Sonic learn to fight, you may ask? Well, he was in Sonic the Fighters. Remember, they had a tournament to see who would go up to the Death Egg 2 and take out Eggman. They had their own fighting tournament, so you must have figured all of Sonic and his friends learned how to fight then. But Clement, that game's not canon. There were 8 Chaos Emeralds in that game. One of them was fake. That's how I see it, anyway. But, you know, maybe there's an 8th one. Who knows? But, anywho, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pretty simple fight. It can be a little bit drawn out because sometimes you're waiting for the bird to do stuff. Whether you're waiting for him to land, whether you're waiting for him to come in vicinity of your crosshair so that you can throw a water vase on him, there is a little bit of a waiting game going on. It's not my favorite boss fight in the game, but I don't hate it with a passion, you know? It's, right in the nuts. It's a totally fine one. Oh, with this QTE, you have to hit A 6 times. That might throw people off guard when they first see it.
Strike 3, monster! That's enough out of you! Oh yeah, that's right, baby!
Alrighty, so that was the Dark Gaia Phoenix. That was our first Werehog boss fight. Also, do what I did and look out for Sun and Moon medals during the fight. Alrighty, first up we're going to be taking on the Wii version. Although these boss fights aren't drastically, horribly different when compared next to each other, there are some key differences that make things a little bit different. So the Dark Moray is just basically in this big force field and this big platform, and in order to get rid of the force field, in the Wii version anyway, you have to destroy all of these generators that we have to presume Dr. Eggman set up. Otherwise, I don't know what the hell this monster's supposed to be. I mean, like Dark Gaia Phoenix, I assumed Dark Gaia has possessed some kind of mythical animal. And is this animal guarding the Halaska Temple? Therefore, did the Halaskan government, if that's a thing that exists, set up all of these contraptions to make a force field around it? Or is it Eggman's fault? I don't know. But either way, you smash all the generators, the force field comes down, and you keep wailing on him, and eventually he coughs out all of these ice tanks. I don't know why he swallowed all of them, but either way, he has all these green, like, boils on his body, you know. He's got the green one in front of him, he's got a green one on his back, and he's got a green one on his head. And when you take those out, they really inflict damage, and they can just drain his health bar ridiculously fast. Otherwise, you're going to be punching the body, and that's all you can do. And I am talking about the Wii version. Yes, in the Wii version, you can just repeatedly punch his body, and you will do damage. You don't necessarily have to go after the green boils. That's what makes it a little bit different from the HD version. But, generally you can use the ice tanks that you get from his body and throw them at him to freeze him, so you can go behind him and hit the green boils or whatever. And if his head is low enough, you can freeze him and take out his head bubble as well. But me, I'm just going to keep whacking him from below, and eventually he just dies. And it's pretty simple. Just destroy the generators, force field goes down, keep whacking him, and when his health is gone, well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for the Dark Moray. They gave us 5 minutes to get an S rank. That's a lot of time, don't you think? Anywho, this is the HD version of the Dark Moray. Instead of having robot generators that make the force field there, now there are Dark Gaia monster heads. And the Dark Gaia monster heads are a little bit more annoying in that sometimes when you go up to them and you start trying to punch them, they immediately retract inwards, and then it's really hard to hit them. So you got all these ice tanks lying outside of the arena, and you smash the ice off of them, and then you pick them up, throw them at the creature. Again, you'll have a cursor on the monster when you know you can lock onto it. And you throw the ice tank on it, so that you can freeze it, so that he definitely won't retract inwards, so that you can beat him up. And you also knock them out in one hit, no matter how high your strength is as the werehog. If you freeze the tentacle monsters at the bottom, you will always kill them in one hit when they are frozen. So how about that? Anyway, once all those creatures are defeated, force field goes down, and the green boils are mandatory to destroy this monster. You absolutely have to hit those boils. You cannot destroy him just by punching his red skin. Or at least his blue skin with red tattoos. I don't know what's up with this creature. So the last hit of the HD version is a little bit more significant than the last hit of the Wii version. Either way, though, it's pretty simple. The monster spams ice balls all over the place trying to freeze you. Every time you get frozen, you just have to wiggle the control stick in order to get out of it, to break free. And, why can't you run faster when you're holding something, werehog? Why can't you be stronger than that? I've seen you punch open a vault. You're apparently that friggin' strong. And if you want to get the last hit in, you have to make him so he goes so low that he's doing like the spinning attack. And the only way you'll draw him into doing that is to get really close to him. Otherwise, he's just going to keep trying to spam ice balls at you.
Sorry, I'm in a rush here!
Otherwise, though, that is the Dark Moray. It's really not that difficult when you know what you're doing. It's just a lot of usage of ice tanks, a lot of freezing things, and a lot of beating on this crazy little bastard. But either way, folks, we now have access to another temple, and it looks